Why are you JaaayStayTrue?
I'm JaaayStayTrue because I am I am someone who has a message for those that don't have a voice in certain areas or certain environments, but that grew up in that environment and
Mm.
willing to make a change within themselves and their community as well.
Man, I resonate with that. Me personally, when I started making music, I did not realize that I was like I was trying to be a voice for the voiceless. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? Like
yeah,
people who can't speak up for themselves for whatever reason,
yeah.
marginalized communities and so on and so forth. So that resonates a lot with me, man. Where would you say you got that kind of motivation? Like, why is that important to you?
I find it super important just because I mean honestly I started off doing it wasn't even music, it was really just poetry. And really it was because I just was a class clown and I just wasn't trying to do the work. But extra credit was going to a poetry slam. So
Mm,
honestly, I guess I would say because like I would lack in certain things, I felt like I can say or grab attachments to certain things. Cause then also when I was younger, I used to do like parody raps like Weird Al Yankovic.
okay.
So like for This Is Why I'm Hot, I would be like This Is Why I'm Fat. Or like Kid Cudi, was it Day and Night? It was I think it was the same, but even at that point, like even the lyrics were just like it
Just
was
wow,
yeah,
yeah.
just hella
Do
crazy.
you say it's so funny you say that, man? When I was, I think either 11 or 12,
Mhm.
T Pain's Buy You a Drink came out. And this is a real story, by the way. It's very embarrassing, but um, I was at my cousin's house and my cousin had hyped me up, right?
Mhm.
I'm the only Mexican guy in his whole white neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And he was hyping me up to his friends. My cousin's so funny. He's this, that. I got there. I did the same jokes that I would do for my cousin. None of them
Mhm.
laughed, right? So I was like, man, like, what skill am I good at?
Mm.
And I had always written poetry.
Nice. Yeah.
So what I decided to do was take the class clown kind of thing, like you were
Yeah.
mentioning, and I wrote it with poetry, and I
Nice.
made a parody to T Pain's "Buy You a Drink"
Tough. Tough.
it was called "Show You My Wang," right? And it was so fucking hysterical to them that we wrote the whole song on
Uh-huh.
like this piece of toilet paper. That's all we had. That's all we had. And so they I won them over. It was great. Like, hey, like you got to come over to like our friend's house. So they
Uh-huh.
take me over to her house, and we were all like playing in the front yard. I had the lyrics stuffed in my shoe.
Ah.
The mom of that girl that we went and visited
Uh-huh.
went in my shoe. She went into my shoe. The only Mexican kid.
That's
It is what it is. And she went
crazy.
into my shoe and like got the toilet paper, pulled out the lyrics, and like read them and said, "Hey, like he has to go." And then the friends were like, "Well, if he goes, we all go."
Oh
And
shit.
so that to me, it was like, okay, this is bigger than just like I can make
Yeah.
something funny.
Yeah.
People could stand behind
Yeah,
it.
I can stand by. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, you got to think about it. If at that point, like it was just as kids, like it's funny for us, like it's funny and like it's entertaining. But then for like other people, as in like adults, like like it sucks that that was the outcome. But also, it just shows it shows like yeah, like I do have a voice. Like what I say
Yeah.
can really like affect someone in a positive or in a negative way.
That one was an example of both.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, do you have something like that with your music right now where it's an example of both? Like, man, this can affect people positively and negatively.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I feel like so like I guess like the music that I tend to do is kind of like party music, which
Okay.
I feel like is super good because at the end of the day I feel like we need more of that because I kind of not kind of but I grew up with like I am so in the HBK gang and Roach Gigs. So it's like,
Okay.
that type of music where it's like fun, party, let's hang out type of music. And I feel like that's super good because, again, we need it. But the thing that sucks is because I feel like people kind of just put me into that box. And
Hmm.
when you're just kind of put into that box, it's kind of like, all right, you try to do other things and it doesn't really show. But then when I've done other things, like for an example, when I did this, like, it's not out and it's like I don't think I'm gonna put it out because
Oh,
I
really?
feel yeah, because I feel kind of like still too like it's me trying to be comfortable with being uncomfortable of
Okay.
like me kind of being vulnerable, And like I'm not too much of a vulnerable person, but I'll show that type of side to like when I'm by myself recording, and I'll show it to friends, and like from their opinion, like I kind of grasp where it's like, okay, like it's relatable, or you know what, like I'm kind of just focusing too much on the wordplay, or just focusing and not really focusing on the emotion, because when you're vulnerable, like you're letting everything out, and that's just something that I'm working on, where I see that where it's like, okay, there's good here because yeah, like people can
Mm,
feel it, but then it's also bad because I'm like, you're focusing too much on this and not really being too vulnerable. You're
right.
not opening up too much.
Man, vulnerability is tough, but I always praise people who are able to do that.
Facts.
Can you? I know there are people listening who probably
Yeah.
struggle with that. Can you tell me what your fear is in regards to, like you say, I probably won't put that song out. Like,
Yeah.
what is the fear in association with that?
If you want to be completely honest, I think it's just because I haven't been too. I'll be honest. I think it's even because I haven't been too open within myself. Like that's also
Mm,
just a me issue in the sense of like there's like wounds that I've had before, and I put a band-aid over it, and now it's like, okay, like time to take the band-aid off, and now it's like, okay, like I have this scar, or I have this like little scab. It's like, and I don't know, this is like kind of random, but like I have this huge thing with scabs that like when I see a scab, I like want to
you
freaking
want to
cut
take
it
it
off.
off?
Yeah, I want to take
Yeah,
it off. So it's like it goes back to that where it's like, like I'll be vulnerable, but then it's like, nah, I don't want to. Why? Because it's like I still don't feel comfortable yet.
yeah.
And I honestly, I just feel like that's kind of like I don't want to say a personal issue, but also it's a battle that each individual goes through within themselves.
That's so real, man. There are people out there who, like I said, they struggle with wanting to be vulnerable, or the fear of putting yourself out there too
Mm-hmm.
much, man. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, even with party music, you're still putting yourself out there
Yeah.
for criticism.
That's
So
true.
so how do you balance that?
Honestly, I think that's one thing that I'm still trying to find out now, because like as I said, I'm trying to be a little bit more open and being vulnerable, and so I'm starting to. I have this project that's coming out on May 16th called 50/50,
Okay.
where I have about like 2 or 3 songs where I feel like it's kind of like it's all trap beats, but the first 2 songs are kind of like lovey in the sense of like trying to grasp a female's attention. You got her attention, now she's yours, and then just going through that little phase, and then it just switches off to like something completely different where it's like a whole bunch of trap, like somewhat melodies and things like that. So it's like even within that whole like
Genre,
yeah, that whole
yeah.
genre of things where it's like it's I don't know, it's there.
I get it. So the project is coming out
Mm-hmm.
May 7th, 16th.
May 16th, yeah.
It's called 50/50.
50/50, yeah.
Why that title?
So, and it's funny because we're literally talking on that topic. It's the word 50 and then the number 50. The reason why is because at the end of the day, in this life, you got to give 100% of everything that you do.
Mm.
Now, the downside to it, the reason why I put the word 50 is because I feel like that's my positive side, n- in the sense of like just being fully like just positive,
Mm.
and just letting it be there. While the number 50 is kind of like the whole negative side in the sense of like being selfish, being greedy, like wanting materialistic
The
things,
numbers.
the numbers, exactly, all of that. And the person who's working on the cover are O3 Shots, if I'm not mistaken.
Shout
Uh,
out O3
yeah,
Shots.
shout out O3 Shots. I hope that's it. If not, I know it's O3 for sure. But he's been working on the cover art, and he actually kind of did like a red pill, blue pill. So I
Mm.
love I love that because I gave him the explanation, I gave him the whole thought, and then I sent him like a picture. I was like, bro, if you don't understand it, like we could find something. He's like, nah, I get it. And he saw the vision. He knocked that out. So I'm super grateful for that.
Man, I love that because in today's world as artists, we were just talking about this off camera. Like we have to focus on the content, but a lot of artists
Hmm.
out there, the reason why this is called Nobody's Listening is because you put something out, you see the number is 100 views or 300 views, and you feel like, man, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But it's like if you think about it, like we're so skewed and spoiled with numbers. If 100 people bought your $10 CD, you just got $1,000 in your pocket for doing what you love. And
Bro.
now is that enough to pay the rent? No, but it's enough to go back and get more studio time.
Yep.
If you got to hustle, bro, you got to hustle. So I love that because it's very poetic.
Yeah.
Walk me through modern day, like do you feel like you struggle with what being an artist is today, the content game, the marketing yourself, advertising, all of that?
Yeah, honestly, shoot, man, I could talk so much
Well,
about
we're
this.
here. We're here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, like I can definitely say I struggle a lot into those things, like the whole content thing, the whole marketing. Just like you said, we were talking off camera a bit about it, but like like me specifically as an artist, like I always thought growing up was like, oh yeah, like if I make good music, people are gonna be interested, and I'll quote unquote blow up. Not modern day time, it's totally different just because of the whole content. Like people know you as an artist, but they don't know you as a person.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's like the key thing. Again, it goes back to like, okay, like I know you make music, but what else do you do? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like, oh, you're kind of funny. Oh, you know how to cook. Oh, you know about gardening. Oh, you know what? You're very intellectual into certain things. So it's like those
Mm.
type of things is the thing that grasps people attention, and that's just something that I'm trying to figure myself out with more. So like next month, I'm gonna start dropping a couple content that I've been having and I've been working on, these past couple months because I went like on a 6 month hiatus. The last song I dropped was like I think it was like on my birthday in like September.
Mm.
And yeah, from September to what I want to say, yeah, till May, I'm gonna be dropping something.
What do you feel like you learned that's awesome, by the way. I
Thank
love
you.
when artists put out the music that they're working hard on, man.
Yeah.
What pause, by the way, just in case, because I said hard on. That's crazy. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
people,
That was wild. No, 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 that was flagrant. That's my bad.
You're good, bro.
What do you feel like you learned in that hiatus?
Oh man, honestly, I was just going through an emotional roller coaster with so many. Honestly, 2024 was like an emotional, like I'm not gonna say emotional tragedy, but it was very an emotional year for me. But
Mm.
I definitely learned that in life, not just in just music or whatever, but in life in general, everything's gonna hit all at once, and
Yeah,
it just depends on how strong you are mentally, how strong and how willingful you are to accept it and change. Like the first 6 months, I was cool. Something happened within like a couple months from there, and things just went downhill from there.
man.
And within these 6 months, I learned I was like, you know what, like at the end of the day. I have to focus and put myself on in the sense of like if I want to give other people opportunity, I have to grant myself opportunities. I have to open these doors.
Yeah,
I have to do all these things in order for myself to even help anybody. Like you can't fill up a cup if you're empty,
that's real.
So
That's so real, bro. Because like some people don't understand that you are eventually gonna do them a disservice
yeah,
if you like are giving everything you have and you have nothing coming in.
at all.
It's like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm giving you all of me, but I'm not taking the time to
To
put
do it on myself.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
bro.
like it's great that I'm helping you, but at a
Yeah.
certain point, if you're not developing the skills you need to do it yourself, you're gonna turn to me like, where's more? It's like, bro, I gave you everything.
Exactly. Like they say, you can't. What is it? You can't teach someone how. What you could. What is it?
You could lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
like I could help you how to do these things, and I can help you to a certain extent. But after that, it's like, what have you learned from all
Yeah.
these things? What
Oh
have you done?
no, that I think that's the one that we were thinking of. It's more so you give a man a fish he can eat for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, he can eat for the rest of
For
his
the rest
life.
of his life. Yeah, that
Yeah, yeah.
one. Yeah, that one. That's the one.
That's the
That's the key
one.
one right there. Yeah.
So how do you feel now after that hiatus? Like how are you feeling
I
now?
mean, honestly, I'm man, I've been with my little
Well,
super happy. My little it's my little my what's it? What my New York
I
people?
love that.
My
Oh,
heart. That's my heart right there. But
hello, she's off camera. Y'all can't see her, but here is support. I love that.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, but honestly, like, I've been, just after the hiatus, it was definitely needed. I definitely felt like a whole weight just got off my back. Like,
yeah.
also, I mean, like, not even to put religion into it, but I thank God as well, just because, like,
Mm,
I've been, oh man, it was just such a struggle. She's seen how much, like, my family, my close friends have seen how much I was struggling, and at the end of the day, I thank God because I just kept praying to him, just kept telling him like, help me, help me, help me. All the good, I know it has
mm.
to. I know it has to have a end point,
There's
a
a purpose
bad,
for this.
all of that,
Yeah.
and it builds character and it builds, it, it helps you love things all over again. Because that was another thing. I wasn't falling in love with music all over again. Like
Mm.
it was just like dead. I just felt like it was simple. It was done. So I did a couple other things on this hiatus, and it made me. It just like stemmed my brain into a sense of like, all right, bro, like you got this, you got this. Now let's get back to this. So and then
Mm.
you can start working on these other things even more.
Yeah,
So.
I respect that, man. I want to go back to something you said earlier. You
Hmm.
said, you know, like the audience can find out who you are as a person. So my question for you is, who is JaaayStayTrue, the person?
Yeah, JaaayStayTrue, the person. Well, honestly, I'll say this: JaaayStayTrue is the alter ego. JaaayStayTrue is the nonchalant, cool, funny, materialistic kind of like in your face, but not really type of guy. While Josh, which is the one that I want to bring out more, is the shy guy, the guy that doesn't have too much social skills, but is willing to learn and conversate and be in the same area with
Mm.
you, completely quiet and But Josh
Yeah,
is just that person that like he's always gonna be there. He's always gonna show love. He's always gonna just be there for you and be there for himself as well.
yeah. You know what? Before I ask, I appreciate the vulnerability. Before I ask you this next question, I want to give you a little more context because I personally relate to what you just said.
Yeah.
So my name isn't August; it's Marco. But like when I was younger, there was a lot of arguments and disagreements about who Marco was, and everything I heard wasn't how I felt about myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't put a name to what I felt about myself until school days, where every August, the month of August, I felt like this sense of rebirth. I felt this sense of like I can take on any new challenge.
Yeah.
So I said August sounds like a name that I like, and that was before I ever even met somebody named August.
That's fire.
So what I'm getting at is Marco wanted to be August, right? Just didn't have the
Mm.
ability to. So my question for you is, does Josh want to be Jay or does Jay want to be Josh?
Man, it's funny because I'm not into the whole what is it astrology type thing, but
Astrology,
yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm a Libra. I'm a Libra, so
Okay.
it's like I'm a September Libra, so that balance has to be there. Honestly, I think I'd say they're like twins. Honestly, I say they're like
Okay.
super twins.
Two sides of the same
Yeah,
coin.
two sides. Like you've seen Zach and like Sweet Life of
Yeah,
Zach and
yeah, yeah.
Cody. So like Zach and Cody are like literally the same exact person yet different. So
Yeah.
it's like it in that sense where it's like Josh is definitely Jay Stay True, but
Mm.
Jay Stay True is also Josh, but in the sense of like they both do it in their own way. So, like for an example, you have Josh over here, which is Cody, and
Mm.
he's with this crowd, and then you have Jay Stay True, which is Zach, which is over here in this crowd.
Yeah.
But Josh, Jay Stay True, whatever, can mesh all of that in together, like can mesh it in together.
Mm.
And I guess because of that, it's just something that I'm trying to break off in the sense of like I know I can mesh it, but Zach needs to be Zach and be Zach.
Yeah.
Cody
Cody needs
needs
to
to be
be Cody.
Cody and be Cody.
Right.
So
I respect that, man. In a perfect world, how do you think you get that done? I promise you, this is my last identity
yeah, no,
question.
no, no,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
good, you're
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Ah, man, honest,
Like if money was,
finding myself.
there you
Honestly,
go.
it's really just finding myself, like getting to know myself more. Because as I said, I'm still getting to know myself. I'm still trying to be comfortable within being comfortable with being uncomfortable and being comfortable with being vulnerable and really opening those wounds again and facing reality. Kind of
Yeah.
not just running from it no more.
No, I totally agree with that, man. Like a lot of us have problems with running from reality. I did it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't want to say diss somebody, but I had to give somebody advice on a song
Yeah.
for doing that same thing.
Yeah.
So it's aggressive advice. But speaking of songs,
Hmm.
I want to ask you,
Yeah.
what is your favorite song right now that the public can hear?
Mm, gosh, you know what? It's three. Honestly, I'll be
Okay.
completely honest. It's three, and one of them I didn't even like. It's not that I didn't like it. I liked it, but I didn't want it to be a single. But I felt like if it was a single, it probably would have been better. But
Mm,
also, I love the outcome how it came out. But donuts, because I mean that's like the song that a lot of people know me as, because also I put
Mm.
myself as the donut man. So I'd say donuts. I'd definitely say Indiana Jones is one of my favorite ones, and then Snip Snip are like my three favorite.
Mm.
I love those songs. I can hear it a million times and I won't get tired of it.
Is there any? I respect that. Is there any song that surprised you? Not those. Maybe those three, or maybe a different
Mm-hmm.
one. Is there any song that surprised you that you put out and people liked it more than you liked it?
Ooh, yeah. Well, I can say that for donuts, and I can say that for which other one. There was one specific one that
Would
I
it be that
was.
Facebook one by chance?
Yeah, actually, oh no, no, I'm sorry. It's Earthquake.
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 Okay.
Earthquake is one that I was like I loved how it came out, but I was like, I don't know, I just felt like it's a little too short. I just felt like it's
Mm.
not too much. I did a snippet of it and then I kind of promoted it a little bit, and like a lot of people really like I had a lot of good feedback on it. So I was like, wow.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
yeah.
So now I want to go back even further because
Mm-hmm.
we spoke about your future projects. Now we also spoke about you when you started. It was more like Weird Al Yankovic type
Yeah.
vibes. Like, when did you make the transition from Weird Al Yankovic to
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start putting out music for people to actually listen to?
Um, as I said, I grew up in I grew up in a religious household, in the sense of like I grew up in a Christian household. From like what, seventh grade to like high school or so,
Mm.
and my he's like my cousin, but my cousin that I grew up with, we grew up with each other. We kind of went our own ways, and then we found each other again, like at this church. And at
Mm.
this church, he was super cool with the pastor's kid, and the pastor's kid was like a music head, in the sense of like he
Mm.
knew how to play all the instruments. And so I remember every time after church, like after the service, we would go all the way to the back outside on like freestyle. And I remember, and all three of us are the co-founders of the collective TRÜE that we have, and yeah, just then like we would like freestyle, and I just felt, I don't know, it was just something in it that I was like, I really want to do this. Like I don't want to just like clown around and make like parody raps.
Yeah.
And so started freestyling, and then from there, like it was like what, my junior, no, I think it was like my senior year. um Shout out AB. He was like a after school teacher, and like he had a friend that was like a producer. He came over with the whole equipment. I did like my first like freestyle. I remember I called it like J style, and like it was
Jay.
like it was my, like I said, my senior year. I did this I don't want to say crazy line, but like I said this line where I was like, I spit fire, but I'm not a dragon, and everybody was clowning me. They were making fun of me in the hallways, but that made me realize, I was like, damn, okay, like just like how it happened with you when you were younger. It's like, like words can affect people. It made me
Yeah.
realize, I was like, oh shit, like words can affect people. Like
Yeah.
like even if it is like, even if it wasn't funny, but people actually like that line.
Yeah.
Like, so it made me realize, I was like, you know what? I'm going off for it. And
Yeah.
then my first year at City College, I got FAFSA, and like that first check, I went on eBay and I got like that home studio bundle. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, we up. I was like, we're up.
We up. We
We up
outside.
outside for real.
That was great, bro.
Yeah,
That was great. I remember when I got that first check, I was like, oh, bro, I had never seen that much money in my life
bro.
hit my bank
What?
account in one shot, bro.
Yes, bro.
It was like
Yes.
$7,000 in one
Yeah,
shot.
bro. Yeah, bro.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
With this amount of money, yeah, dude. When I saw that check, I was like, yeah, I definitely got to get this,
Well, I started wilding out there, bro.
dude. Yeah, after that, I was like, bro, because I like fumbled it. I fumbled it, and then after that, I was like, oh, so you got to keep your grades up. And I kept, after I found that out, I was like, all right, this is like high school all over again.
Yeah,
So
man, hey, that's a totally different podcast.
man, total.
I got one last question for you. Okay,
You're
I
good.
just
Yeah.
started this last podcast. I want to ask you this too. Depending on how you answer this, there's a second question.
Okay.
Do you feel like nobody's listening?
Mm. I like that because that's the name of the podcast too.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that for like
so
20 plus episodes.
That's
It's crazy.
so tough.
I appreciate that. I can't let that go to my head.
Let's make sure we keep this. Just save this clip. Just split it. We're good. Clip this.
Flip it.
Yeah, honestly, I just felt like, not a lot of people are listening, just because they're just wrapped up with I guess society, wrapped up with social media, wrapped up with what's popular, wrapped up with clout. There's just a lot of things that like people are just wrapped up in, in the sense of like, like I feel like morals just out the window, respect is out the window.
There we go. Talk that shit.
Yeah, man. I just felt like, like the way how we grew up, because I'm pretty sure we're like within the same age frame.
Yeah.
But the way how we grew up was like, you're respectful at all times. It doesn't matter, what the situation is. Like, you got to respect it, And nowadays, I just feel like this generation just has a lot of crash outs.
Yeah.
Where it's like they do the action before thinking, which I understand too, because a lot of us were like that too. But I don't think that we were to that extreme.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think we're that extreme.
You got to give people a little bit of credit though, and this is what I'll say. Imagine you see your parents coming home late from work. They hate their job. All they do is sleep. They drink beer when they get home, and then you turn on the TV. You watch someone like a streamer. I'm not gonna name one, but
yeah,
a streamer who's like around your age, and he is seemingly living the greatest life of all time.
Ooh, yeah.
And he's making money doing it. Why on earth would you not want to crash out on camera?
Yeah.
It has the potential to make you a millionaire.
That's true.
Now, I'll tell you what, for those watching, it doesn't work that way.
At all.
Just because you get 1 million views does not mean you make $1 million.
Yeah, no.
1 million streams on Spotify, sorry to cut you off. 1 million streams on Spotify is $4,000. Think about that. $4,000 pays 1 month of rent, maybe, depending on where you live. So
about that.
you answer my final question based on your explanation. I appreciate that. Tell the people where they can follow you at.
You can follow me on social media. Well, all social media. It's JaaayStayTrue, J with 3 A's. That's JaaayStayTrue. My TikTok is the same. It just has an underscore. I'm gonna start posting more things on there as well. So.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much, August, man. This means a lot.
Of course, man. Remember, when you think nobody's listening, somebody is.
Somebody's always going to be listening, whether you believe it or not. I didn't think so, and we're here now. Look.
I respect that. I always end it on the whole nobody's listening thing, and I love that.
Man.
JaaayStayTrue.
Come on, man.
Let's go.